Hey everybody, this is Yarince Pascual Mateo, your host here at Espera Que.
Welcome back everybody to Espera Que. I'm your host, Yarince. Thank you for continuing the support of this show. It is wonderful to see all of y'all coming back to listen to these ramblings. I'm not going to lie, this show's a bit a downer, I'm not going to lie, since we're in this like twilight zone at the moment right now with the whole Iran war. Just are we in a ceasefire or not? Are people dying or not? What the hell is going on? And shit's happening every single day. That just gets more mind-numbing every day. But to get to the start, another shooting has happened, which, I mean, there has been multiple shootings since up to the time we were recording. This shooting happened yesterday or the day before. It happened in San Diego in the Islamic Center of San Diego. I believe a community center pretty much oriented around Islam, but I mean, you got the whole things for Jewish centers and Christian centers. That's everywhere. It was shooting two kids. These were teenagers. I am older than these kids. They were 17 and 19. They went in with a lot of white supremacist symbols and just hateful shit in their manifestos. From the information that the police has released at the moment, pretty hateful shit to anyone who isn't a white Christian person. I'm not gonna lie. This was a hate crime. This was a terrorist attack on the Islamic community. And I'm not gonna lie, we got to this point just because we live in a society that genuinely believes that Islam is this boogeyman that's trying to destroy the great white race. No, I like it. It annoys me. Like we're not gonna say the names of the killers or talk about them. They died in self-inflicted wounds themselves when the police finally caught up to them, which I say cowards, but at this point is just stupid. They streamed themselves doing this shit. There's multiple camera angles of them just shooting at random people. They were just sick fucks who just went in and killed people. One of the people, I believe, was Adneen Abdul, father of multiple kids, security guard, went in, saved the day for multiple people to get out before he got shot and killed. And it just happened because we live in a very hateful society. Like, this shit's crazy. Like, I'm not trying to politic and over here. The bodies, I mean, again, we're recording it like a day or two after the shooting. Like, we barely will remember this shit. This will be drowned out in the 24/7 news cycle instantly with this shit. And it's just disheartening because innocent people died because a bunch of kids were brainwashed. There were reports, they were online, radicalized through online sites and information, which, I mean, it's super easy to find these like neo-Nazi sites. I found one pretty easily. I played around with the files and see if I can access anything, but they covered their holes. They're cowards, I can tell you that. They have pictures of them grinning, happy as they stand together with their burning crosses of being proud that they are pathetic sacks of shits who the only thing they deem useful in this existence is because they do not have enough melanin in their skin, and that's it. But we live in the post-colonial era where for 600 years they have just deemed it as, yeah, go fuck yourself. We are white, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. And now we're at a point where people just want us to ignore this and just keep on marching forward and just leave all the people who are still affected by the shit that affected them for 600 years and just ignore it. And here we are in a time where we have all this shitty Islamophobia And now we have two white supremacy brainwashing two kids into going and killing innocent people just because they believe in the same God a different way. Because Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are all the Abrahamic religions, and they all came from the story about Abraham and how God came to him and said, "You're gonna have a son, and you have a nation, and all that shit." Yeah, it came from those branches of stories, and then it just branched off into those three separate religions that we have today. With half, well, billions except for Judaism, but we all know what happened. Either way, it's just disheartening. It is because we have a president, which in his words, it was a terrible accident. But I mean, unless it was the white person who was dying in these attacks, he ain't going to show that much emotions with it. But we have a president who spreads hateful rhetoric about Muslims because of this whole Iran war and shit. And all the people who support him in, or it's like mouthpieces that whenever shit happens, they're the first ones on Twitter and other sites to just start spreading the misinformation. So we have to have all this stupid flame wars in the comment sections and not pay attention to all this shit, are just spreading Islamophobia 24/7, saying that Islam is like pedophiles. Islam is just like they want to kill white people. Islam is just they want to destroy Western civilization and shit like that. And I'm like, I mean, Islam, like Christianity, also had a lot of effects in Europe and affected a lot of the thoughts that is called Western. Like Islam has some of the modern thoughts of love and shit like that. I'm like, I'm not here to choose which side because at the end of the day, we're all human fucking beings. And also, I despise the fucking West nomenclature. You're saying West, like you're saying West Europe and anything that was white that still has the predominantly white hand of Europe on it. That's my view of the West. Because if they talk about the West, they would have added Africa and pretty much all of South America and the Caribbeans, but they don't. They only care about the places where it is where white people have majority of the systematic power, because that is how the European powers set up these colonies and states and the whole this shit to have that. And the whole fucking idea of the West. Russia isn't part of that whole idea, even though they're white and stuff like that. Just because Russia is doing its own thing, but they will drop that whole facilitation and go back to the idea of whiteness if Russia just do whatever they want. And this shooting in San Diego is just the byproduct of the shit. It's just the byproduct. We live in a society where there's more guns than humans here. It is so easy just to get a gun. Teenagers can just break into cars where they find it and just steal a gun from there. Or they can just get enough money and just buy it from someone who was willing to give it to them. Or in this case, it seems like the guns were taken from their households, where there's households with guns, which, I mean, you're allowed to have it, but we got to do something about mental health if we're going to have guns in our house. And then we have the ticking time bombs that are around us that are just going to pick up a gun and think this is the right tool for my situation, and not let's talk about it. Let's do something else about this and yada, yada, yada. Because I highly doubt these ideas were last resorts. These were just gun hole impulse control. Some of these affected by Chat GPT. I wouldn't be surprised if they got some ideas from this shit. But allegedly, I want to save my ass. Speaking of Chat GPT, I'm not even going to talk about that piece of shit next segment. We're going to come up to our break. I am condolences to the families of the people who have died in San Diego. I am sorry that you have to be the next daily sacrifice of people to die to the demon that is the gun that we are forced to continue to worship, because the gun manufacturers need to make money and money. Fuck the two like brats who just went out and killed innocent people, but I genuinely do not know how you get to this point. I mean, I could. not negligence, allowing your kid to go to down rabbit holes of bigotry and hate, allowing it inside your household, having dangerous elements, having horrible role models that show violence is the answer and not, I don't know, normal social human behavior. But yeah, another day, another reminder why we are in the Twilight Zone, where the Twilight Zone and Black Mirror and The Onion and all these satirical works of media tells us like hypotheticals that are insane, but every day reality continues to show us that no, we are at a state that anything is possible. I mean, we're in late stage capitalism, baby. Human lives, they're just numbers at this point, and it doesn't matter how many innocent people, children, anyone dies. At least whoever has the ability to take the most power, they're the one that's going to be in problem, and everybody who dies in mass shootings every single day is just forgotten, as always, because it's just a number. See you after the break. Hi, this is Yarince Pascual Mateo. I am back. Espera Que is back in 2026, and yes, my hiatus was sad, and it was caused by a bunch of, I don't know, butthurt losers, but I'm not going to say that. Don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to say fuck fascism, and I'm going to stand up against this shit. So please, like, subscribe, enjoy my show, and let's fight against the bullshit that we continue to live with.
Hey everyone, this is Christian and Jenny from the Coffee and Pandusi Show. We hope you're enjoying Espera Que with Yarince. It's a great show. Also, I want to remind you to join our show as well, Coffee and Pandusi, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock on your favorite podcast platform, and Jenny's show, Two Queers in a Truck.
Absolutely.
Every Wednesday at 11:30.
2025 is our 2025. If I can get it out right without something like that. We've got two wonderful shows that have joined the family of shows that we've done for 6 to 8 seasons. Yeah. And Yarince is a wonderful host. He's a wonderful guest host with coffee. And a wonderful young man with a lot of great vision and insight. Looking forward to seeing his episodes flourish. And as always, thanks for listening. Otherwise, Christian and I would be just talking to ourselves.
That's right, and we do.
we do. Doesn't keep us from doing that now.
That's right. Enjoy the show, y'all. Bye.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to Espera Que. Thank you for being here for me. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. I hope you are listening to us here in any of our major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and hey, let's survive this 2025.
Bye, y'all.
Welcome back, everybody. So after that downer, let's talk about corruption. Who doesn't love corruption, everybody? Nobody, obviously. Thank God for I'm alone in my room while recording, because please, if you clap at corruption. Either way, in our great state of the United States of America, we have the president, Donald J. Trump, the pedophile, and the man who bankrupted multiple casinos and has done a lot, not multiple casinos, multiple businesses, one of them being a casino, which, I mean, a casino makes its money off of human addiction. Like, how do you think cigarettes are big? Addiction. If you can, how do you think alcohol is big? Addiction. How do you bankrupt a thing that runs on addiction when it has been shown since dawn of man, addiction has been able to fund so many ventures. Either way, the scam artist in chief, as we have it, has been at war with our IRS, which for any non-Americans, that's our department that deals with an internet and the Internal Revenue Service. They're the guys who gets your money for taxes and shit. So they can waste it on bombing innocent children in Israel. I mean, not in Israel, in Gaza. Which, yeah, I mean, it should be what it should be going to is like infrastructure projects, paying the people working in the government to make sure they have a livable life so they can continue to serve the people in a meaningful way, funding projects and research and all that stuff. But Elon Musk came in and pretty much stripped Doge, saying they saved money when they only got like what, 2 billion bucks. No, and they wasted like over $100 billion and shit doing this shit. Also, currently we have Trump, which they just settled with a $1.7 billion coming from us, the taxpayers. This is coming from us, given to Trump to be created into this whole entire weaponization relief reparations fund for anyone who was gone against who was weaponized, had the DOJ weaponized against them, which that's what MAGA loves to say. It's like the DOJ or any agency is weaponized against them when they do their job, when they're dealing with corruption and them just being horrible human beings and shit. It's just like they try to act and say and use the language and words that make them seem like they're victims when they're the ones who are victimizing everybody. I digress. Either way, this 1.7 slush fund, $1 billion slush fund, which is going to be run by a board of like faceless asshats that is chosen by the Attorney General, who is pretty much Todd Blanche, whatever the fuck, loser face. He's just a stooge. He is just a little puppet, pop, like Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi was just a woman and wasn't doing it good enough for him. So he had to get some black haired guy, white male, to do whatever he wants for him. And I mean, he's going to be the same as Pam Bondi. He's just going to fuck it up or just be useless or be a really, really, really good puppet. I don't know. I'm afraid. But right now, he is appointing a bunch of faceless people who Trump can choose to remove and appoint as himself, which, okay, red flags over there. Oh, and then they will output any money to any people who were slighted by the DOJ, which that will account to the January 6th rioters, which Trump pardoned at the beginning of his second term, which, again, these people weren't good people in the beginning with. Like, some of them already got arrested for attacking people, CSAM, just being horrible human beings. A lot of families complained that they didn't want these family members back because they were horrible human beings. Like, the January 6ers who went into the Capitol, shit all over the place, fucking destroyed things, tried to kill people, had like zip ties and weapons and shit. They were going to bring guns, but they were stopped by the Secret Service. Like, they committed a coup, an insurrection, and they have the ability to get repaid by the government for their crimes. And then there's Trump, which that's just bad because, one, there's this wholeheartedly corruption because Trump can use this for any one of his business partners or any stooges he have. Good. Here's like a nice little fund where, hey, here's some money for taking the fall from me, dude. Keep being loyal to me. And then he has a loyal army of just sycophants who are just happy, and they have done some of the worst things ever, and with government money are just protected and have enough money to survive for being shitty human beings. And that's just the latest of this corruption shit. We have the mirror pool in front of the monument, Washington Monument, which earlier we had him drive through, which kind of ruined that whole project, and the contractor had to continue doing it, which the contractor, he specifically chose no bids, which how it is in the government is if they're going to do the work, they are being, the government have like auctions for companies to bid their like company for like, hey, we'll do it for this amount of money, and whoever has the lowest money and can do the best work will be chosen. That's how it usually works. Trump personally chose them, and it was supposed to be like a few million, like one or two, but it was $13 million, which most of it, of which a huge portion of it is kickbacks to the guy, which he, after the whole shit show and showing that he damaged it and it was doing nothing and it's just getting worse and worse. Oh, I don't know this man. I didn't see it. And then even more, the trip to China in Hong Kong to Xi Jinping, and Trump came in with his posse of little bitch maiden boys of CEOs, Elon Musk, head of NVIDIA, head of Google, all the billionaires who have interest in like computers and AI, just there hoping to do this whole meet and greet. Fucking Eric. No, it was Trump Jr. Trump Jr. That little shithead. Or it was like Eric Trump. I can't remember. Either one of those assholes was there, and he might have been just part of just some Chinese business that was going there.
Yeah,
all this corruption. It was Eric Trump. It was just dumb, and all this corruption, like. And why should we be surprised? Trump last year in 2025 had turned the White House into a whole entire showroom for Tesla. Like when Elon was rightfully being shit on by most of the American public because of the destruction of so many government jobs and so many government services being shut down because of all the money they're just stripping away, calling it DEI or whatever the fuck they use as the criteria, which those dipshit little brats who he hired, who because they were only hired because they were friends close enough to meet Elon Musk, and also they sucked up to his ass. They just use ChatGPT and say like, hey, ChatGPT, just look at all this data we stole from all these agencies and tell us if it has any things that say DEI, how should we get rid of it? And they followed through with it. I went to school for 4 years, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to getting certificates, and I continue to get hard and harder, door closer and closer for IT. But dipshits are just born lucky. And then just because they were able to kiss the right ass, they can strip and dismantle our fucking government. God damn. Like, I like genuinely, when I was growing up, it was always the joke of politicians being corrupt and nobody liked politicians. But here, because of people treating politicians like Trump as like WWE characters and just, acting like this is a sport when no, this is us, how we live, how we exist in this country, how we exist in this land that was stolen by Native Americans, who were wiped out by fucking smallpox, brought in by European fucking filth-ridden brats who just mass murder whatever they saw because they weren't smarter, they weren't better. They would have died if it wasn't for the indigenous populations teaching them how to just eat and survive off of the land. Like, the reason why the indigenous populations lost wasn't that they were stupider or weaker. It was because, one, they were being mass murdered by fucking diseases by these filth-ridden bastards who just came over here. Two, Europe has spent most of its time mass murdering each other. All other parts of the world, yeah, they had wars and stuff like that, but they had some restraint. They were not going to be eradicating each other. They were trying to just survive or just get resources for whatever dumbass who was in charge at the time. They weren't fucking psychopaths. But Europe, they had 100-year wars just because fucking grandparents were just having spats. World War One was just that all the children of Queen Victoria having spats against each other. And then these fuckheads just came over to the Americas, pretended and created a whole entire racial hierarchy just to get most of the peasants on their side so they can have this little racial identity to feel safe, even though they're in the shit as us. It's just that they don't get whipped as much as us. And then centuries later, we have this shit show happening right here where we have this pedophile bastard just being corrupt. And we always remember throughout all of history, politicians were just asshats. And now we have a politician who was a corrupt fucking scamming businessman who was, while getting elected in the first term, getting out of a lawsuit for scamming people for his dumbass university. Like, for fuck's sake, the ballroom. If you haven't seen the pictures in the White House, it's just the whole entire East Wing is just gone. Is it East Wing or West Wing? No, it's the East Wing. It's just gone. And then you just have this whole foundation, and they're just going to build some bunker or whatever under the ballroom, and they're going to build up it. And now, after that whole assassination attempt on Trump during the Correspondents' Dinner, it just galvanized a bunch of Republicans in Congress to be like, hey, let's put money into this project, which all the losers who were defending this stupid shit was saying it was private donors, which that's still fucking bad. Oh, the president is indebted to private donors we don't fucking know about for building a ballroom on federal land on the fucking White House. And now we're going to have our money on it, on this just, I don't know. It's just embarrassment of the fucking shit. It just looks like a kid who just look at the White House and just, hey, let me just put something bigger right here. And this cities want to play the gold and shit. And he just wants to leave a mark. That is all. He just wants to leave a mark after he dies because he knows he's going to die and everybody's going to celebrate because he's a sack of shit. And he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants is because the Republicans ain't going to stop anything because they finally have their savior or whatever. They're like Reagan, when this guy is just, again, a senile pedophile who only kept his wealth just scamming and scamming and scamming. And just because he was a white rich man in the United States, they just let him continue to coast off of this and keep him popular because they just, I don't fucking know. This is our president, everybody. This is maddening. This is the America we live in, and we got here, I truthfully say, just because we didn't do anything to just deal with the issues of race and how we still have towns and areas and people who will literally murder other people just because they don't put whiteness on a pedestal. And because of that hatred and just disgusting thing, we ended up in a point where we have a president who blatantly and in front of the public is just putting stocks on all the companies who are bribing him and propping him up as a president, like Palantir, Facebook, Google, all those companies. He has been putting money in their stocks, and since their stocks are going up because of all the kickbacks that the president has been giving to all these assets, he is making money as well. Like, seriously, we should be banning stock trading in all of government. If you hold a governmental position, you don't have the ability to stock trade. If you want to put your money in something, put it in some blind trust that does it for yourself. But no, with so much insider trading, it just shows. And the Democrats are just no good any different. And because they have their power, they don't mind just kicking away the ladder and just welding the door shut behind them just because they're already there and they can just ignore the assets and placate them because they already have what they have. People died because of the ramifications of the political system that uses racism and hate and misinformation. And here, because of that, these asshats can just go around and enrich themselves while we're busy crying about our fellow humans just dying in the streets just because of hate that they spread, all because they want to keep the billions in their pockets and the rope in their hand. It's just stressful. I mean, it's just stressful. It's just genuinely stressful. We are in a shitty situation. Shit's not sweet in the U.S. It's bad. We're coming up our second break, and I'm just saying, shit's not sweet. We gotta buck up. We're gonna have to talk about voting for this one. So, see you after the break.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our show. Listening if you're on our major podcast platforms on Spotify and Apple. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. Thank you so much for enjoying hearing my annoying voice, and hope you'll have a wonderful 2025. It's going to be a long one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, we'll just come back for about 2 minutes, and then we'll take our last break, and then we'll end the show.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, we'll come back for just a couple of minutes, and we'll end. Here we go.
Good job. Great intro. All right, come back, talk about Epstein.
Okay. Epstein.
I'm gonna start recording. Good job, y'all. All right, we're at the 18-minute mark. Tony, the second half, do you want to switch it to more national conversations? Because you were talking about Charlotte, or do you want to stay on Charlotte? Or edited. And once again, I know your time is valuable.
What is language like? I have a potty mouth, so let me know. Are y'all?
We don't. We don't mind. Is that right,
Yeah, no. I mean,
I'll try to refrain since it's the Christmas season.
Exactly.
All right. And by the way, I just want you to know this is the earliest interview I've ever done in my life.
Oh my goodness.
And this is the Jenny Award.
I'm quite honored to have a conversation with Jojo Garza. He's with the Grammy Award-winning Los Lonely Boys, and actually, I believe you're in San Angelo, Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah, man, I'm here at home right now.
Well, welcome to Que Pasa, Mr. Garza. Listen, I have to admit that I grew up in Texas. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, a native Texan, and Tejano, I guess that's what I grew up calling myself. And there was always this confusion. Is San Angelo Central Texas or is it West Texas?
Well, you're right about that. There's always like a bit of confusion about it.
And this is the Pendejo Chronicles.
Hi everybody, this is Yarince from the Espera Que show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA, go to your nearest homeless shelter, go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people die to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who restored normity, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yarince again from Espera Que, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
Welcome back, everybody. Moving on to things just not bad. Adding to our Twilight Zone feeling of dread and just annoyance, we have the Iran war and the Ukrainian war and the genocide happening in Palestine and the genocide happening in the Congo. And I mean, I believe the genocide in Myanmar is still happening, which I remember that in high school and they're still going on in that shit. Facebook started this shit. No, Facebook was the breeding grounds for it. That's the right words to say it. If it wasn't for the fact for Facebook just not putting a moderation team in Myanmar and just stopping their political leaders to spread such racist hate to the Rohingya people right over there. Yeah. Anyway, in the Ukrainian front, not much is tit for tat between the Russians and Ukrainians. The Ukrainians pretty much getting as much support they can get from Europeans, but with the United States just doing whatever the fuck they want and just getting mad at Ukraine, not giving back any of the weapons they already gave, just because they don't want to help out with the whole shit show in Iran, which we'll get to that. Yeah, Ukraine's dealing with that shit. Russia, pretty much just kidnapping people and forcing them to fight in their stupid war. They're getting North Koreans go die in this war, which imagine that, being forced to live in a dictatorship only just to be sent to die for another dictatorship. Like, and it's just even scarier because of the newer technologies, because of the modern age, cyber attacks, people hacking into like systems and infrastructure causing issues. Drones, they're pretty fast, cheap, and easy to produce and control and to send. You can just teach a kid to play a video game with it, and bam, they know how to do it. They even trick kids to literally man drones to drop bombs. You just put a bomb on it and just. One thing is, whenever you see pictures of their warfare, the whole entire town is covered with these like fiberglass strings and stuff like that. Just that's how they control the drones. And it's just, this is modern warfare, everybody. So people dying, people just suffering. Ukraine launched another one of the biggest offenses in modern time, attacks against Moscow. Putin's Putining, doing whatever Putin does, just throwing shit at the wall and hoping he can get Ukraine. And I really don't know much about this place in that region. Truthfully, I should learn more about that region and learn how this is, because Ukraine is like the breadbasket of that part of the area in Asia and Europe. And this will cause ramifications that we could feel the effects here in the United States. Like I don't have the brain capacity for this shit, but we live in an interconnected world, and all the shit that is happening affect us all. For example, the Iran war, because of this war happening, Russia is getting more money from oil sales because Trump has been putting down sanctions against Russia. So now they're getting more money so they can fund their war effort against Ukraine. And that could be an effect with Ukraine, because Ukraine also need oil, but they're not allies with Iran. Russia is. So Iran, who is in control of the Strait of Hormuz, most likely allowing ships that are friendly to them, which could be Russian tankers with shit. Or they have other ways to send things through train or any other ports, stuff like that. But in the Iranian war, we're in this whole ceasefire limbo while Israel is Israeling and just bombing and killing people in Lebanon just because they believe they are owed that land, when they have already displaced like an eighth of the population. Well, no, they've taken 1/8 of the country land, which that's a fucking invasion of that. You're invading, and millions have been displaced and thousands have been killed. A couple Israelis have died, but I'm not gonna lie, when I see people out in the streets of Israel chanting and protesting, not the sexual assault abuse happening in the detention camps that they have Palestinians just suffer through, but justice going to the perpetrators of the sexual abuses being punished. I feel sorry for the kids, but at this point it's a shit show with that Israel. And then Iran, analysts say that they believe they can hold out for like a couple more months, because what happened for Iran to win is just that Trump to fuck this up so much and waste so much U.S. military power and just do so much economic harm that the United States will be forced to back off and forced to deal with the downfalls of just fucking up so badly with this shit. And Iran, even though shit's not sweet, they have more of the playing cards because they were the victims. They were the ones who were attacked. And if they want to get that oil production up and running, Iran gonna need some money. and shit's if people start giving money, people start being nice, people start listening to them. That's how it goes. This is the world of geopolitics, and this is just scratching the surface. I'm just doing the best what I can do with all the information I have. I don't have access to satellites watching all the movements between shipments and stuff like that. I don't have access to all the cultural information, cultural history, all the shit that is happening in this lands. That has a significance as well. Why do you think the United States is acting so asshat and dumbasses and prideful and up and fronting? Like, the United States had a history of fighting brown countries and acting like they're the best. Well, pretty much any European or Western country has been known to act cocksure and just attack any brown country, thinking they're always going to be the strongest until that brown country or whatever country that is in a white country just start working, which I despise having to use this explanations because there's no such thing as brown or black or white countries or shit like that. Again, there's no thing like there is no such thing as white culture. No such thing. Black culture in the United States was just a culture built up by all the people who were deemed black in this part of the area because literally everything else they have was ripped away from them. So they created a culture from the absence of what they got stolen from them. White culture was created just so they can rip away everything that black people have and then just be rich and assholes about it. It's none of this whole thing. So it's just this interconnected stupidity working together to continue to push stupidity all over the world. And we have Russia and Ukraine fighting each other. Russia for more land, Ukraine for its survival. While Iran versus the United States because the president wants to hide the fact that he was a pedophile and wants just a distraction. And Iran was just doing this shit, and they have to deal with this shit. And we have lost 14 U.S. service members, even more. They're living in shitty, squalor situations. They're not getting enough food, not getting enough supplies. Like in World War II, we had a fucking warship with like for ice cream to keep morale for their troops. Now we just have our troops eating fucking gray slop and just tell them shut up and just get ready to survive or not. It's getting worse. And then what's even more is then we have Israel, the mad dog over here, just still continuing doing his genocide against Palestinians, just massacring people in Gaza, while multiple people from different countries are going in flotillas to bring aid and doctors and just help to all the Gazans living in there. But the IDF is just boarding their ships, arresting them, putting them into like cages and just abusing and mistreating them for having the audacity of just going to help innocent civilians who are just dying because they had the audacity to be Palestinians. Because Israel continually say this is against Hamas. Yeah, Hamas to them is anyone who is Palestinian. And all Palestinians have to be dead for them to have this fucking imagine. It is disheartening. And with the West Bank, every day it's just a new video. Grandma being beaten and assaulted by a bunch of settlers. Kids attacked by IDF soldiers. Fucking a mom just minding their own business and some fucking asshat comes with a bat and bash her skull in. But that's across the world. I might never see this in my life, but all that death and destruction is just, it may be not far away, but it could happen to my place if we just allow this shit to happen. It's stressful. So as one of these small peons living on this godforsaken world and wasn't born lucky with rich parents and generational wealth or whatever the fuck gave them that thing, like, yeah, you could say you can build yourself out of it, but you just have to be lucky enough. Like, it is literally luck based, lucky enough to meet the right people, and they were in the right mood, in the right time, at the right place for them to see your worth and believe they can put as much money as you do it, and you're able to grow there. Some people just get it just by being born. Well, no, most people get it just by being born. That's it. And right now, they are using that power not to help people, but to wage war around the world. So, to end on this sad and very egregious and annoying ass note, if you're anywhere, if you have the ability to vote, go vote. Please do. Vote in people who don't waste their time going to war and killing people and hurting people, but vote in people who take the time and energy to talk to you and just try to help live your life. Because right now, people are suffering. Gas prices are still climbing. I was lucky enough to be working in certain areas, different areas. So it's like 10 cents cheaper where I live, but right where I live is like 420, 430 430 when I don't know, a couple months ago, gas was only like $2.67. Now it's just ridiculous. It takes $20 to fill up a quarter of my tank. $80 to pay up my fucking tank. I'm on a Ford fucking Focus. What the fuck? And that's whatever. Either way, it's been a stressful time. Shit's not sweet. It's annoying, but we got to keep on going. So please, if you have elections, there was a lot of elections happening in the past couple of days. Some of the no Trumpers, like Thomas Massey, going against him, which, I mean, he's still a piece of shit. He's against abortion, against women's autonomy, right? He ain't really... a lot of these Republicans are racist, but he was against Trump because of, you know, the pedophilia and the going to war and killing our service members for a stupid war. Yeah, I mean, he drew the line somewhere. He lost a primary, so the next like 7 months he will be switched out for a more Trump loyalist because the county, he's a senator. The place he not a senator, I think he's a representative. The area the district is pretty red, so most likely the Republican will win. But if you don't want a mass wave of Republicans just that are more radical inside with Trump, go out and vote. Vote in as someone else that isn't a Republican. But if you only have the abilities of Republicans, vote for a Republican who isn't a blind puppet for Donald Trump. Because if you somehow are going to say that this conservatism is a political opinion and not a whole entire lifestyle of being a bigoted sack of shit, vote for people who won't support and back a bigoted sack of shit. Like, I always hear the bitching and complaining about why don't you like my opinion? When your opinion is shared with Klans members, Nazis, and people who will commit violence, like the two bastards who killed those innocent people in San Diego, if your opinion aligns with that, and your leader, the person who is championing this opinion, is going into government powers and pushing those opinions all over the place and trying to solidify that into the rule books, you're a sack of shit. So the only way to prove that you're not a sack of shit is to call it out and put people who don't enforce it not into office, and even better, people who will go against it and dismantle it. But that's asking too much for some people, because not gonna lie, some people genuinely believe just because they don't have a chemical that protects them from UV light, they are the superior human being. And because of that delusion, we are in the shit show that we are in right now. So, to end on the sad note, to end our recording and stuff like that, if you are in the movies, go watch Obsession. Bear is the villain. He is a sadistic piece of shit. If thankfully, my one thing I love about movie theater expenses, when it's the right movie, there is the thing that you should be quiet in certain movies and stuff like that, and don't just go be hooping and hollering and all that shit in the movie. But during Obsession, it was one of those horror movies where everybody it makes sense that you were having reactions to some of the characters, because some of the scares, amazing. Some practical effects, amazing. The storyline, amazing. But Bear, the main character Bear, yeah, when the fucking guy told you on the line to do the right thing and to kill yourself, I also said, you'll go kill yourself. Because trust me, Just because you wish for her to love you doesn't mean that's consent and you're a sack of shit. And anyone who doesn't believe Bear is a villain, you're just as bad as him, and you really need some introspection. Because this movie, Obsession, this is why I love media. Media helps people and targets people so them to understand, hey, this is shit that is happening in real life. Yeah, it's fantastical now, but put this into a more human light and you can still see it's still horrible and evil and bad. So if you're a young male, watch Obsession and don't sympathize with Bear, sympathize with Nikki. Yes, she's going insane, but that wasn't her choice. And understand that why that loss of choice is the issue here. Either way, this is Yarince, Pascual, Mateo of Espera Que. Thank you again for listening to our depressing show, but I hope that next time we can have more uplifting things. And go watch Obsession. Go watch some good shows. The new Devil May Cry season in Netflix came out. Just binged it. Really good. Have fun watching that one. I never played the games, but the show's pretty good. Love Lady. Love Dante. Virgil was amazing. Good show. Either way, thank you for listening, and see you next week on Espera Que. And also, just to remind y'all, fuck fascists, fuck Trump, and fuck all these fascist asshats who are making life miserable for all of us. We just want to live a happy life. I just want to live in a nice cyberpunk utopia where everything is available and free and I have access to the internet and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But that ain't it is. So fuck them. Have a good day. See you next week.
All right. Fuck fascism.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Espera Que here with your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. Please, if you haven't, just subscribe to us on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever you're listening to our podcast or watching the VOD. Thank you for watching the show, and fuck fascism, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not making money off of this or doing anything like that, but I'm just happy to scream into the void and tell people, please, wake the fuck up, go vote, do something, please! Thank you for watching the show. See you next time.